the Thrustmaster GPX Lightback Black Edition. Now that I knew that PC gamepads did exist with cross-shaped D-pads, I went looking for another, and it didn't take long to find one. It costs as much as a wired 360 controller, but with that D-pad I knew it could actually be an improvement over the 360. So I took a gamble, and it paid off. Sort of. The GPX Lightback is sleek and sexy, easily the most visually appealing of the three, and it feels very comfortable in my hands. In fact, I'd say that although it looks a lot like the 360 controller, it's actually more comfortable to hold, although it took a little getting used to. The differences are small but noticeable. I was excited to use this controller on my PC, but that's where I ran into a snag. For whatever reason, this controller does not register as an Xbox 360 controller for some Windows 7 users. It kept trying to pull up a specific GPX driver that doesn't exist. With a little help from the internet, I managed to force the device driver to use the 360 driver for this controller, but I shouldn't have had to do that in the first place. But once I got it running, pure joy. The controls were brilliantly tight and responsive. I don't know that the analog sticks were twice as accurate as other gamepads, as Thrustmaster claims, but they were certainly up to the task of rigorous gameplay. The D-pad wasn't as good as the Mini Pro X's, but in a single playthrough of Super C, why not mix it up a little, I only had a couple of slip-ups. There's a few silly features like the LED lights that indicate how far you've pressed the triggers, and the backlight on the analog sticks seem to have some difficulty activating, but if that was something I cared about, I'd have to reevaluate my priorities in life. In conclusion, this is a great controller that may have some difficult barriers for Windows 7 users to overcome. It's still the best gamepad for use on a PC that I've found, though. The D-pad alone makes it a better controller than the 360, so if you have Windows 8, or if you have Windows 7 and enough technical skill to know how to force the controller to use 360 drivers in Device Manager, or even if you just want a new controller for your 360, I'd recommend getting this controller. The Thrustmaster GPX Lightback Black Edition gets an 8.5 out of 10.